Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Usually we're on Monday nights. We like to call that Monday Night Football. But tonight, because of the Copa America, we're on Sunday, El Domingo. Hope you enjoyed this amazing day of football. Hope you enjoyed this whole week. We don't get this very often to talk about football all the time. We've had great shows in the past week with everyone traveling, but we're back, at least some of us, back in the studios, back to talk to you, back to talk to everyone about el fútbol mexicano, where we can say we're in. So let's go ahead and get started in tonight's Mexican Soccer Show. All right, guys, bienvenidos. I am Wiso from Foodmex Source, Foodmex Nation now here in Phoenix. We'll be giving you a whole hour of Fútbol Mexicano. We'll be talking all about la Selección Mexicana, especially with what's happening here with Copa America now going into the first round. We'll also be discussing a little bit about the Copa America and all the drama, especially something that happened yesterday with the Estados Unidos, Colombia, Costa Rica. And we'll go into, we'll even talk about what happened in Jamaica. I know many of you have reached out to us to hear from us regarding that defense that we see, regarding el planteamiento de Osorio. We're going to have a lot of fun with many of you already on the chat. If you're listening to us right now or you're watching us and you're not on the chat, get to the chat right now, which is on the YouTube channel, so you can ask us questions and you can be a part of this Mexican Soccer Show experience. Before we start, go ahead and talk to my partners here, Mr. Naive Moran, who is usually in Mexico City, but today he is back in his hometown, back in Houston. Right, Naive? You got it right?
Yeah. We're back in Texas. Great to see you, Wiso. Great to see Cesar. We're getting to that point of the excitement, I think, in the Copa America with the quarterfinals and the semis ahead in the week, and I think, like you said, I mean, there is questioning on Osorio's planteamiento, but the results are there. They're all wins, by the way. So I think, it's complicated to judge when it's all wins, and I think we'll have to see how it works tomorrow against Venezuela.
Definitely, we have to see how it works. It's the last game of the round play where Mexico sits atop for right now, but that can change if obviously if they get a loss. But let's go say hi to Mr. Cesar Hernandez in San Diego. Cesar, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well. I'm actually feeling pretty great now that I'm back in San Diego. It's nice weather. Got to go on a jog today, as opposed to me in the 150,000 degree weather in Phoenix. 160,000 degree weather.
So you guys, when you guys left, it was 89 degrees.
Oh really? just right when we left, like probably just as soon as I boarded the plane.
If only the weather could have stayed a little more, so I wouldn't hear all of my friends here complain about how horrible it is.
But yeah, doing well. Yeah, like usual, excited to talk about Mexico. Excited to see, man, what Osorio does tomorrow. I mean, like we were talking with Naib earlier. Like, I mean, who knows what he's gonna do? I feel like a lot of us have this idea of what he might do, maybe even just of his formation, but I mean everything's still up in the air. But
Chicharito will start.
You don't.
That's it.
You don't know. Oribe could be starting a spot. You never know.
Yeah, you're right.
You really don't know. But anywho, yeah, just excited. Well, I'm excited to talk about that. Let's see what our thoughts are.
Well, good. Well, let's go ahead and get to talk. Let's talk a little about the Copa America right now, just before we go into Mexico. Guys, how are you feeling? How are you seeing this? Is it fulfilling your summer tournament dreams? I mean, is it everything you hoped for? I mean, we're looking at the USA. If Mexico wins, we'll be on another top of the group. It looks like Brazil, and as of now, actually, the game Brazil is going on right now, and even in Argentina. So, I mean, the two best out of South America, supposedly, historically, and Mexico, US being top of the group. Is this the Copa America that we all wanted?
I think it's gonna get there. I mean, I think we've seen two matches, specifically talking about Colombia, Paraguay, and Colombia, Costa Rica, that I think the level has been really eye-opening. I think that Colombia, Paraguay was this intense South American game that you tend to see in the qualifiers and also in Copa Americas that take place over there. Messi still not in his full mojo. I don't know when we'll see that. Probably we'll see that in the.
I don't want to see his full mojo if he's not 100% and he scores a hat trick.
Maybe if it's against the U.S., I'd like to see him in his full mojo, full pace. So.
So I mean, I think it's still its beginnings. With that, Vidal has been great with Chile,
Yeah.
and then I think it's been surprising to see Uruguay not to make it out of this group with Mexico. I think none of us had Venezuela on the brink of playing a knockout stage game in this Copa America Centenario.
No. I've actually, in fact, with my I made predictions for the Copa America for Soccer Nation, and if Brazil wins, I'm going to be 4 for 4 for Groups A and B for the teams that go through. But
Yeah.
I had Venezuela as last place in Group C. I thought Jamaica would have given a little bit more trouble. I thought no, there was nothing really. I mean, you look at their form that they've had in World Cup qualifying. I think they're in last place. They haven't won a single game in the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying. So it must be pretty inspirational. So if you're a Venezuela fan, it must be an exciting time right now. And you have a guaranteed spot, in the quarterfinals at this moment. But it's gonna be tough for them against Mexico tomorrow.
I mean, looking at Group A, right, the way it panned out. I mean, we're looking at that. Colombia, I had, Colombia and Paraguay go through. I felt that the Ticos and had not had a good, experience after the World Cup, and obviously that happened. And now with the new coach and going in, I didn't see the U.S. Going through just because I thought maybe Paraguay, but from what I've seen from Paraguay, but now the U.S. is being at the top of the group, which was exciting to watch yesterday, especially since Costa Rica already eliminated, beat a Colombia who thought that we're just gonna have our starters and we'll see how it is, but lost the group and now could face a Brazil if they're able to win. How much are they biting themselves for doing that? So that was an interesting group play. Great job for the Americans. The Yanks coming out with a one, which I still think they have a lot of problems in their team, but when they come together and momentum is on their side and they have the crowd and they're at home, as much as people say, the U.S. is still packing more people than any other country except for Mexico. It's exciting to see that the top two in CONCACAF are hopefully, the group leaders. And something that I was thinking about, this CONMEBOL always saying, CONCACAF, Mexico beat Uruguay. We saw the Ticos beat Colombia. We saw Estados Unidos beat Paraguay. And if I'm not, who else? Another CONCACAF nation, was it Panama beat someone?
Yeah, Panama I think beat Bolivia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Panama beat Bolivia. So, I mean, this what we could be seeing as this Copa America, let's say if they ever unite, which I don't think is ever going to happen, but these are interesting games, and this is at a full tournament where it's not friendly or anything like that, but we're starting to see that. So I like the way it's going. I was a little surprised that now the U.S. might go against a tough Ecuador, which I think will be in Seattle, and then in what we're seeing now as far as B, surprises there, guys, in Group B.
And we'll see how Brazil does. I mean, I think if Peru, if they're able to find a win against Brazil, which is highly unlikely, but I mean, you never really know in this competition. I mean, if they can find a surprise win, then Brazil's going to get knocked out of the competition. It's unlikely to happen, but that's an option right there. But as far as it comes, I thought with the tie, yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
you're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah.
With the tie, they're still in, but it's interesting to see.
Really, what you said with the tie, I thought with the tie they're still in. Someone on YouTube do someone on YouTube do some research for us. But I mean, I kind of expect.
If Brazil with a win or a tie, they're still in.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I expected Ecuador to do this well. You look at the roster, you look at that midfield. I was actually I'm not too surprised by them making it, potentially finishing in first place depending on the Brazil result. But no, I had Brazil and Ecuador going through, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the last result for tonight.
Group C, Naib, obviously Mexico being the top of the group, that's a surprise. I mean, I think it could have been Uruguay from before, us at least looking at it. We always looked at that quarterfinal, probably Argentina. If we get lucky and we win, our group, then we probably see. But we're not counting our chickens just yet. We still have a very, very tough Venezuela who has surprised him from what I'm seeing, Venezuela with the problems that are happening in that country with, we thought maybe it was one of the worst teams that are coming into the Copa America, but definitely surprised beating Uruguay, who is a mess, Garra can't take you all the way when you're missing in front of the goal like Cavani did. But talk specifically about that Uruguay team in Venezuela, and obviously, like we talked about, a little bit of the Reggae Boys not, at least producing.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the scenario there in the Group C, I mean, it's surprising to see what happened, with Venezuela and the advancement, advancing to the next round. Then what we saw with Uruguay there, not being able to score goals and important. I mean, but I think the way that Mexico has been able to take itself during the group stage has been interesting. Having the risk with the back line of three, and repeating it. Also with what we have seen with Rafa Marquez and how he has sort of been a pivotal performer for El Tri still. Those are sort of surprises that you see, and I think I'm intrigued to see what happens tomorrow with Venezuela. I mean, I just think that it's something that it could potentially be the Cinderella story in the tournament, but Venezuela is a team that also has a lot of players in Europe, and I think that helps it. They have players in Portugal, in France, in Italy, and I think that is a reason why the team is where it's at right now. But like you said, we saw in the beginning, we thought Uruguay was going to be more competitive than it was, but I think they were really hurt by Luis Suarez's injury going into the tournament.
And although the game really doesn't matter tomorrow, I mean, both Uruguay and Jamaica have 0 points. I'm genuinely interested to see what happens in that game. You get the kind of feeling that...
I haven't even thought about them playing.
Yeah, no, I mean, most people probably don't right now at this moment, but you get the kind of feeling that maybe Jamaica might surprise them. Maybe they'll somehow sneak in a win. Maybe Uruguay.
I mean Picos, completely eliminated, ruined the party for Colombia. Golazos too. It wasn't like it was just lucky plays. I mean, they brought. If someone said that about the starters not starting, the Cuadrado went in, James went in the second half. They were going all out. They did not want to lose, and look at that.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely excited to. I mean, I'll probably be busy writing articles, but to at least catch the second half of that match, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just winner gets 3 points, and they can't surpass Mexico or Venezuela. But I'm really interested to see what happens in that match.
Mexico obviously playing first, the first game, which is interesting how it's not a simultaneous, third game what we usually see in group plays during the third games. To see that, which if someone does some kind of research, I wonder why. You guys ever thought about why there's no simultaneous third match, which we've already seen that in the World Cup? Because
it could be something with the ratings. It could be something with the networks that have the rights, with Univision.
Yeah, but I mean, in the World Cup, the ratings are still part of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's. Can you imagine, a scenario where one team already played and they're already in, and it doesn't matter. It does, even if they lose 10-0, they're not going to, change.
I mean, where you talk about just the Venezuela, not Venezuela, but the Uruguay and Jamaica game. We were talking about ratings, but maybe who's actually gonna turn into that game? It's probably 4 of us. We're gonna tune into that game tomorrow.
No, yeah, I see that. But like I'm saying, what if for whatever reason Uruguay needed, if Mexico, what I'm saying, it really needed. You can't have a game first because all of a sudden, these guys are going to not play anymore. I think in the World Cup it happened where the two teams, all they had to do was tie, and they were both in, and they already saw the score, obviously, from the game before, and they decided to just not play. I mean, they're like, here you go, and it came out 0-0 or something like that. I think it happened in a tournament. But planning again in the Copa America, just beautiful. Beautiful. And what we're seeing, guys. And then, obviously, let's talk about Group D, the power that is Messi coming in and in 20 minutes scoring a hat trick. Where we're just seeing what a dangerous team that could be, and Argentina in Group D just obviously being first, and it looks like that they're not going to come down and be first in their group. So, as far as what am I drawing a blank? Who's going to be in their second?
It's either going to be Chile or Panama.
Chile, right? Panama needs a miracle win in order for them to stay in, or.
I think Panama needs to beat Chile, and that's all they need to do. They need to beat Chile. But I think if Chile draw, because they're playing against each other, and they both have 3 points. But if
Right.
Chile and Panama draw, then Chile goes through.
Come on,
and I think,
Panama.
and I think the match Chile hasn't been that convincing, to tell the
Mhm.
truth. I
Mhm.
mean, I think Chile at that game against Bolivia, there were some, the penalty kick for example,
Yeah.
it was pretty strange call, and I think with BC, the problem right now is that they don't have the same intensity as they did with Sampaoli, and they don't have a number 10. They don't have Valdivia or Matias Fernandez. Matias Fernandez is injured, and I think Valdivia was just not called up because he plays in the Middle East. So I mean, I think his level of play is not the same as when he used to play in Brazil. But I think you never know. I mean, we saw just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, CONCACAF teams have beaten
Mhm.
CONMEBOL
Yeah.
teams in this tournament, and that could be a huge statement if Panama is able to get the win against Chile in a must-win situation.
Well, not only that, we would get Panama.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I mean, now
That's
to think about it, let's go Panama. I'd rather face a Panama than a Chile.
But Panama has been complicated. Panama has been
Yeah.
complicated last
Yeah, but
year.
True, but
The-
I still would rather have to go against a Panama versus Chile. Maybe a ref will help us out like we did in Copa America, Copa Oro. It'll just be. I mean, and then I started to think about it. I could just see even the U.S. getting in Ecuador, right, playing at home and just getting lucky once again, right? They'd go if they beat in that match, they play because they're first of the group. Obviously they go. Wait, the way that if Brazil got second, no, they won't be.
I think they would likely if they win the quarterfinal match against Ecuador, if I remember correctly, they would likely play against Argentina.
Yeah, they would likely play.
It'd be the
They just went to the
Argentina,
other one. The only way was because I had them second, and we were able to go against them if they were able to beat a Brazil, but we're coming out. But Panama, if we're able to beat Panama, then I think it looks like it would be a Colombia now. The team is to beat on our bracket if we stay. So interesting. It takes Brazil to the other. It takes Brazil to the other side.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but so if Mexico does end up finishing in first, there's a possibility. It's the smallest of small possibilities that there could be a final between Mexico and the U.S. Correct?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the historic of a Copa America where two CONCACAF teams, especially the U.S. and Mexico, win the final? But now that Brazil wins and it goes and it's gonna be great. I think.
Here's a question for you guys. All right, so when we talk about Mexico and U.S. rivalry, it feels like we don't like bring it up. In fact, I don't even know why I'm bringing it up right now because it's the World Cup that's never existed to me. But that matchup and the 2002 World Cup to me was like that's the biggest stage we've ever been on against them. Would that or a Copa America final be higher?
I say the World Cup still.
It's because it's still in the World Cup, even though it's a final match.
Like you mean if we lose against them?
No, not if we lose against them. But what's the bigger stage? Like what would be the more significant match? Would it be that World Cup? What is it, round of 16 match, or would it be the Copa America final?
Maybe because I don't like to regress the feelings of being in that day that I feel like that was not important anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like this would be very, very important. But a final in a Copa America, I don't know. I guess just because it's a Copa America Centenario.
No, and then again, like it's held in the U.S. and I think it's sort of, I don't know how to explain. I mean, we saw the CONCACAF Cup final in Rose Bowl just recently, and it's sort of a 2.0 of it. I want to see a World Cup game because it's neutral.
There you go.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Good point. He brings it back home with him.
So this would be the second most significant matchup between the two of us then.
If there are any U.S. fans, welcome to the show, and we're projecting the U.S.-Mexico final of Copa America Centenario. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Mexico. Let's talk about what happened. Wait, first, before we do that, let me see what's going on in the chat. Hello to Mariano, Jesus, Nestor Arroyo, Cristian Camargo, Eduardo. I know I saw Ceci in there. Our main man, Ivan Afrozander Fernandez, and saying hi to Ceci, one of the captains in Pancho Villa's army, Victor Herrera, Albert Capra. Lots and lots of people asking questions. Is Pizzi, coaching for his job? And we'll answer to you guys right now on what we have especially. People are saying that the World Cup, agree with Nestor, too many.
I would
We're
agree with that
looking
too,
at here.
actually. I just wanted to bring up that question, but I agree with the World
That's a good
Cup as
question.
well.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's talk about what Mexico. We didn't get a chance to, to chat about the Jamaica game here in the Mexican Soccer Show. But your overall thoughts, where Mexico obviously won 2-0. I think convincingly. It wasn't one of those games where we didn't need to, we didn't play our best football and we shouldn't have won. I feel like that Chile friendly, we should have lost that game and we were able to come out with a win. And lucky against obviously Jamaica, who, if you're looking at how many shots they were able to get on a one-on-one basis, it looks like their forwards were off. But at the same time, Mexico also had some easy moments where they should have scored it could have been a 5-3 or a 6-2 kind of scoreline, but it went down to a 2-0. Chicharito once again. Surprising everyone. It's not surprising, but it is the way that he scores and how easy it is between two defenders. Yet again, is able to be alone and rematar and score one more time. But obviously, going into the next round, a very, very important match against Jamaica, who we didn't see the same Jamaica that we saw last year, missing some players, and at the same time, just not the same Jamaica. But guys, what was most worrisome about that game? Because what I'm looking at and reading, obviously your column, Cesar and Naib, and a lot of our colleagues, a very sloppy Mexico, especially in the defense. The questioning of Juan Carlos Osorio's choices, again, is what's key in these experiments. And somehow he keeps getting the win, and yes, it's impressive. But are we still, have we really faced a team other than Uruguay, which, great, we were able to win that game, but we're looking at a Chile, we're looking at Argentina, and what we saw, and obviously maybe the answer is that Osorio is not going to use the same lineup he used for Jamaica that he will use for Chile or Argentina. But what was the most worrisome for you, Cesar, in the game against Jamaica? In that, again, that defense, I mean, they could have scored 2-3 goals, and people were saying that we were very lucky to catch away with 0.
That's the thing. It was. I mean, it's the defense for me. I think if you put in, any other striker other than Donaldson. So Donaldson, he had a terrible, terrible game for Jamaica up front. If he was just slightly better, he could have easily knocked in 1 or 2 goals against Mexico. Luckily for us, he was just off form. He just had a horrible game for Jamaica, and I think that's what I worry about the most. Those 3 central defenders, which were Yasser, Moreno, and Araujo. And it worried me a little bit when Yasser was in the middle. He was the central guy between Moreno and Araujo. Moreno looked a little uncomfortable with no one there at left back to support him. And Araujo, I don't know, I really liked him a lot against Uruguay, but he just wasn't very convincing against Jamaica. So
has Moreno had the type of tournament we expected him to have?
No. It's too early, so I think it's too early. But I do admit that when you see the lineup and when you see a center back like Moreno, you don't expect him to make the errors that he made against Jamaica. It's difficult for this trio of center backs that Cesar just mentioned, for them to play in this style that they don't play at the club. There's few clubs in Mexico that play the way that Osorio wants to play, and Yasser Corona and Nestor Araujo are not your most formidable center backs. They're all right center backs, but they're not at the level of Hector Moreno, Reyes, and even Marquez. But Marquez doesn't have the pace anymore. No. And I think this is a complication. I mean, it's a new way of seeing the game, and it's not going to be something that is going to be remarkable right away. I mean, I think it still needs practice over practice. And at one point, it will improve. And I think, looking at the paper, I mean, I just don't see that in 2 years, a player like Yasser Corona is going to be in the World Cup. I mean, I just don't see it. But that's the only option there is after, Hector Moreno as being the only left-footed center back available. Osvaldo Alanis is coming off an injury. He could have been included in this list. But I think it just needs more practice. But the idea is something that does work with the Mexican footballer, because the Mexican footballer, especially the defender, likes to start its place from the back. Mm-hmm. But, I think the Jamaica game, there was similar errors to what happened in Canada and Vancouver, and Wiso was there, that, Canada just didn't convert.
Yeah.
But El Tri had its chances, and they were clinical. Chicharito, Chucky, and Corona, I think, scored. Mm-hmm. And I think that was kind of the similar case that happened against Jamaica.
Yeah, and then
I'm just cautious in the fact that we get a good striker, and I feel in the last 5 games we've just been. I don't know. I feel like I know we keep saying this word luck, but luck's been on our side. That these strikers have just not been in the Chile game, Paraguay, Uruguay. At the towards the end, as we saw too, there's some problems there with just not concrete forward. Just make your normal those goals, and it could be that. It's maybe something that the defense is working. If we're looking at only one goal,
you have the hope that maybe against a tougher opposition, maybe against
they don't make the mistakes.
Or no, not they're not gonna make mistakes, but that at the very least that Yasser Corona won't be in the starting 11. You hopefully have the idea that maybe I like that setup which had Rafa, Moreno, and Araujo. I thought it worked really well. I was happy with that. Maybe let's switch to 4-man backline, which I think worked really well in that second half in Jamaica. Once they pushed Layun back to right back position, I think that's when Mexico looked a little bit better. And I think due to that, we're probably going to see a 4-man back line tomorrow. It seems it seems like that's Osorio experimenting a little bit. That's Osorio probably giving minutes, and I've been bringing this up. He's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he gave minutes to someone like Pau Aguilar or Jorge Torres Nilo, as those wing backs. So it'll be interesting to see how Mexico does. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting how Mexico does, what Osorio does tomorrow. I think that's something we're going to see is switching from that 3-man defense to a 4-man. And I don't know who those central defenders are going to be, but I'm convinced maybe. Who knows? It's Osorio. I have no idea. But we're gonna see someone like Aguilar. We're gonna see someone like Jorge Torres. At least Aguilar.
If Guardado wasn't suspended for that first game, do you think we would have seen a repeat of the Uruguay lineup?
What do you assess? So the same lineup from Uruguay against Jamaica, we would have seen the same one? No, I think ¿cómo te diré? It's different. Both opponents are different. Jamaica more physical in a way.
Yeah, but
then less touch on the ground. I think Uruguay still had some good players on the midfield like Carlos Sanchez and Arevalo Rios. And Carlos Sanchez was actually bad against Mexico, but that was because the marking was early. Because he left early,
He should have stayed. You should have brought that momentum. Maybe he lost, but he should have been there. They would have won. He could have brought that over. If I was a Uruguay, I would have blamed.
But the thing with Guardado is, I do believe that in that match against Jamaica, we saw to a certain extent the importance of Guardado. I think when you take Guardado off El Tris 11, it's scary. Because it doesn't have the same fluidity. It's just a little bit everything disconnected. And with Guardado, everything seems to connect. And I think tomorrow there's a good chance that he could start because he had that day. He basically had a week off, and I think depending. So he needs to return on the pitch and have that leadership. So it could be that Marquez gets the rest, and that way Guardado will be the captain.
Which he needs. I think you figured it out, Naive. I think it makes perfect sense. Guardado hasn't played a week. Marquez is old and he needs the rest. And we'll see where he comes out. I'm a little surprised to see what I will be surprised to see what the lineup will be if it's 4 in the back. Still changing it up. And one of the questions that came from the chat, all these rotations, all these experiments, will it burn out a team versus a good team that we will face maybe in the quarters?
That's a really good question. That was a good question. My assumption is, it's tough to say with Osorio. My assumption is he saw the game against Jamaica as an opportunity to experiment a little bit. He sees the game against Venezuela, now that we have a guaranteed spot in the quarterfinals, as another opportunity to mess around with 1 or 2 more players, maybe 3 or 4. But I think of the quarterfinals, that's my assumption, is when he'll field what he deems to be his best lineup. That is my assumption. Will it happen? I don't know. But that is what I assume. That seems like the logical decision, at least for me, that there would be no reason for him to really. Player rotation is one thing, but to use your best options is another. And my assumption, he would use his best options in the knockout round.
Yeah, and I think that will generate debate. I think, for example, in the goalkeeping position, is if tomorrow.
We're not going to see Corona, are we?
No, I don't think Corona will be in the quarterfinals. but it will be interesting to see if it will be Tala or Ochoa. Now, when we look at the opponents, at the quote-unquote possible opponents, Argentina or Chile, you have to have your
Or
best shot
Panama.
blocker, or Panama. But we're giving. I mean, Chile and Argentina were the finalists last year, so you would assume that they'll continue on. But Ochoa is the best shot blocker, I'd say. And I think against Argentina or Chile, you want your best shot blocker. So I would see.
Talavera was caught,
Yeah, Talavera was off.
butterflies
Yeah, he really was. Yeah.
against Uruguay a couple of times where I haven't seen Talavera does not do that in Toluca. I haven't seen Talavera that bad. And you know what? We saw a little bit about what he did in the Chile match. Was it one of the matches? Was it Paraguay or Chile? I think it was Chile where he looked nervous. And once again, I think Ochoa is going to start from now on. According to the X Nation poll of 500, there's 470 people picked Ochoa, and the other people picked Talavera. So
I mean, I think the audience knows. The audience knows, and I think right now Cesar will add his point about the goalkeepers, but I saw Ochoa with more confidence than Talavera and what we've been able to see.
Yeah, most definitely, I agree. No, I think it's a little unfair to just base it off 2 games. The 2 games played the Copa America. But if we're to base that off those 2 matches, 180 minutes, you would say Ochoa. That's the easy decision. He's the better goalkeeper at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're going at 2. Question to you guys, and think about it, and then I'll go back to you. Who's been the best for Mexico this tournament so far? Think about it. Think about your answer, and we're looking at a question from the audience is: are we going to see Candido Ramirez? You think in this tomorrow, Naib?
He could. I mean, there's a potential.
I have him in the projected 11 actually. I actually have in my the race. I took a risk today with the projected 11 because I put all of the 5 players that haven't seen minutes in the Copa America as starters tomorrow.
Oh, whoa!
But I have Moreno and Guardado in the lineup, and I think that's important to point out because what Colombia messed up yesterday is that they took out Cardona, James, and Cuadrado, who I think are sort of the soul in the offense.
The backbone.
Yeah, the backbone. And then Mexico will maintain the backbone. Even I think I put Raul Jimenez to start, but what Wiso said in the beginning of the show, I think it will be Chicharito. So if it will be Chicharito, Guardado, and Moreno will be in the 11. And I think those are important players for Osorio.
Do you happen to have your starting 11, like what you think it will be, like offhand right now? I'd be interested to hear what your starting 11 would be, or not what you're starting, but what you think it will be.
Yeah. The one that I have is a 4-3-3 formation with Corona and Go, Paul Aguilar and Torres Nilo will start on the fullbacks. I have Moreno and Reyes as the center backs. Moreno and Reyes started as the center back duo against Canada in Vancouver, so they've been playing in the back line of 4. Molina, Guardado, and Peña in the midfield, and up front Chucky Lozano, who I think has been the best player for Mexico so far in the tournament. Raul Jimenez and Candido Ramirez.
Raul Jimenez and Candido. I have something similar. I actually.
I hope that doesn't happen.
It's probably gonna happen. I mean, like my predicted 11 is pretty similar. I say I have like my defensive line is the same. I have the same goalkeeper. I'm still a little confused with the midfield. I'm saying it's Guardado. I'm gonna say Rafa Marquez plays again. I mean, the press conference today, I think Osorio said that he's still fresh and still looking good. Still looking like a healthy player. So you don't really know. And then I don't know who that other midfielder is going to be. You get that idea that maybe Herrera is going to get a break, and then you could see like a Candido, maybe a Peña, maybe you don't know. But it'll be interesting, and then we'll see. I also have Lozano and then Tecatito and Chicharito. I think that'll be who I assume the starting 11 will be.
I think he's going to keep going with Ochoa. I think he needs to keep going with Ochoa. I don't think Corona will get some minutes. I think it'll be laughable if 3 different keepers in 3 different games. There's no reason to keep Corona. I mean, for minutes. This isn't a time to, here you go, buddy. Let me give you some pity minutes. Ochoa needs to start. Your keeper needs to start. Like I don't see Corona, and it is. Maybe I'll be.
And the thing is, the thing also to point out, just when you continue your thought, Luis, ahorita te dejo. Venezuela might have some substitutions as well. I think there's like 3 or 4 players that have yellow cards and those are not gonna play for sure. I think that's a rumor coming from the Venezuela camp. So it could potentially, change a little
You
bit.
only rest your players when you're assured to set the spot. If they're good players, they're gonna play.
There's also really bad pitch, and I think both managers are worried about
Yeah.
players getting injured at Energy Stadium as well.
Venezuela's going to take. I don't think Venezuela's going to rest anyone. You only rest them when you're already in the next spot, Naive. So I feel like Venezuela, regardless if you have the yellows, it doesn't matter. They're going to go full on and they're going to attack. And what we saw Venezuela and Uruguay, this is a team. It's that it kind of reminded me of Chile actually. In the way that they were playing. And I just feel like Osorio knows that Venezuela's going to bring it, and he wants to close out. He wants to make a statement, and he's going to go with. Just like if we needed to win and qualify, what I don't understand is still the experiments that he's doing, and the experiments that does he want to try someone else like Paul Aguilar, that I feel like he still wants to see that back line of 4 in case he needs it or something, and that's where I concur with you guys where we might see maybe a Layun, a Torres Nilo. Where we that, but as far as the 3, I feel like those 3, we could still see Layun, Hector Herrera and Guardado keep in, because they have not played, especially together, and you're gonna need that. So it'll be interesting again. I'm not liking the fact that I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's support.
Here's the thing though, is I doubt Osorio even knows what his starting 11 is gonna be like right now. Like tomorrow, like he doesn't know. Like you get the sense that like he's the kind of manager that tomorrow he's gonna still want to see a little bit more. Maybe like I don't know, just like maybe until like 3 or 4 hours before the game. That's when he's gonna figure out what his idea will be of like what his starting 11 will be. You get the sense that maybe tonight he's gonna be like scribbling in his notebook trying to figure out like who the option should be. Maybe watching extra videos on Venezuela. I don't know. Sometimes I get the sense that Osorio's ideas kind of like go past me, like they go above my head and like so many other journalists like head as well. I don't know. It's just I don't know if he's a madman or a genius or just doing random changes, but it's exciting. I like it. I like the fact that he's in charge. But
I don't like it.
I'm still trying to figure him out. I'm still trying to.
No,
figure him
but
out.
the thing that's interesting is that I don't know how the players feel, but based on declarations from them is that they're enjoying it because they get the sense that everyone feels important. Like they don't know the lineup until tomorrow morning. So right now in training, it's like, shoot, I got to step it up. I mean, there might be a chance that I could start. And someone like Oribe Peralta said it yesterday. Is that he feels that everyone has to be at 100%. And I think that helps a little bit to keep the team's competitiveness level at a good spot. And the results are there. I mean, it's 9 wins, 19 goals, only 1 conceded. And the streak will reach 21 tomorrow if they win, or 22.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 20. I'm not sure. I got Tom probably knows. Tom, tell us if you send us a tweet when you watch the show later. Actually, he's probably not gonna watch the show later, but we'll send him a text. The funny thing is, I would just bring something up really quickly. I wrote about this earlier, but I feel that he's won over the players, but Osorio still has to win over the fans. I feel like no matter the result tomorrow, whether Mexico wins 3-0, whether Mexico loses 3-0, there'll be a lot of fans questioning some of the changes, some of the formations, some of the different ideas that he's going to be bringing tomorrow. And I feel like we still have a little bit more time to adapt to Osorio. Osorio's like his favorite ideas of just switching formations and switching.
I wanted to talk this about on Twitter. I have not seen Osorio outcoach someone. We saw the Uruguay, the first half in the Uruguay, which I could give him. That's probably his best. We didn't score. I mean, no, it was an own goal. They were able to, and Uruguay completely changed what they would need to do because of that own goal. But I haven't seen an Osorio go, wow, he outcoached that coach.
I think you could make the argument though with the subs that he's made. He's done well to. I mean, like
true.
We could question the starters' formations, but like
definitely. And I think I see that he sees, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that, and he fixes it with the subs. That's how I've seen it. So I want him to go in Venezuela, and I want him to be like from the beginning to an end, have a great game, ganar, gustar, golear, which is,
Yeah.
we love to have that, but at the same time, I want to be able to see that from Osorio, and I haven't, because in the Jamaica game, I don't think I don't think he outcoached, or he did his best from seeing Yasser, from seeing that horrible defense that we saw at times, but was able to fix it. I don't want him to be able to fix it. I want him to start with a great lineup. And where we go. And maybe that's a little hard for me, but I think we deserve that from a coach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it's a good point that Wisa brings up. But I mean, I think when you see the era so far, for example, the game against Honduras in San Pedro Sula against Jorge Luis Pinto's Honduras, I remember Pinto had a lot of trash talk. Pinto's Colombian as well as Osorio, and I think in that match Osorio did outcoach Pinto. I mean, it wasn't a 4-0 win, or it was a 2-0 win by goals scored by subs. I think Tecatito and Dam scored them off the bench. But considering another thing I think you gotta keep in mind is that a lot of teams that face Mexico defend a lot. It's rare when you see. It was Chile. I think Chile has been the only opponent so far in this era with Osorio that they took it at Mexico, and it did look bad. I gotta admit. I mean, it was scary in the first half. It could have been a 2-0, 3-0 comfortable win for Chile. But I think like we've talked about it in this show. I mean, the test will be real in the quarterfinals against Argentina or Chile, or even Panama, like you said, Wiz. But it's I think like you said, I do understand that point that you want to see this dominance. I mean, for example, dominance was against the U.S. barely in the CONCACAF Cup, and the game went all the way to extra time.
Yeah, and it can happen. Right, you dominate, and all of a sudden you still have, which is kind of like a U.S. story all the time. They get dominated in the final.
It's just the nature of the game. Somehow Mexico's has emerged with the 21 victories in a row, whether 20, 21, 22, somewhere along those lines.
Somebody tell us on the chat.
Yeah, and then I know it's just 9 wins in a row for Osorio.
I think it ties it, right?
And I know the last loss was against Ecuador. Yeah, Copa America in June. Yeah, against Ecuador, the 2-1 loss.
And then if we think about it, I mean, the real big loss, the last big loss was against the Netherlands, right? Against Bengal.
Yeah, considering the A team.
Yeah.
Like a big loss.
Like a team, assuming that we didn't so with the Copa America, we're using the assumption that was the B team.
Exactly.
Or all those games that didn't we play? Didn't we lose against Bulgaria?
That was before before the World Cup.
Wait, when did we play Bulgaria?
Yeah.
I don't remember playing Bulgaria.
Yeah. It was in the European tour. We beat Holanda.
Oh, it was Belarus. It was Belarus.
Yeah, we lost Belarus 1-0.
Okay.
But we did beat Holland though.
Yeah, let's see. What was? That was when Vela actually mattered to us, though.
Yeah, that was when Bell actually cared.
That's from there. All right, guys. It's shaping up that we'll be playing in Santa Clara. We're going to be playing in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium. Mexico played its first game. I think the first soccer match for Levi Stadium. Lo debutó was Mexico versus Chile, actually.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's actually, we were there, Cesar, Tom, and I for that game against Chile in Levi Stadium, and it's going to happen again. So, look, obviously we're not going to count, but it looks like if Mexico does beat Venezuela,
or if they draw against them,
or a draw, which would be great to see if they're able to win, and it's pretty exciting. And I was looking at this out of the standing is that if Mexico wins, they're the only team outside of Argentina winning, which they're probably going to win, that's had won all the 3 games.
It will be actually the first time in Copa America history for Mexico to finish a group stage with 9 points if they win. Yeah.
Once again, supports that whole idea that if there is a time for Mexico to win the Copa America, that now is the time. They have the roster for it, they have the momentum, and obviously Mexico is the home team. They're the home team. Some fans won't admit that, but in the U.S., but Mexico is the home team of this competition.
Interesting enough. Naib did we get anything else? I know that you were there today, but I know Venezuela had a press conference Tom Marshall was there, hopefully we can have on maybe, but I think he had to do some other stuff. But anything that was said by in the Venezuela press conference, I did see the coach, saying that like against Uruguay, Mexico are favorites, and like obviously very 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 important in honored. I'm sorry, honored. The word honored that Juan Carlos Osorio, says great things about Venezuela. What a guy, especially Juan Carlos Osorio, and that's on a side comment, just on what and in the way el comportamiento del señor. But anything else that has been said? I know it's been tweeting around.
No, I mean I think the players are aware of the importance of what their team, what the national team has, in respect to what's going on in the country in Venezuela with the political uncertainty that it's sort of, you don't know what's going on there with after Hugo Chavez passed away, it's sort of been all shambles basically over there in Venezuela. So the players understand that they represent sort of a ray of hope, and I think no one expected them to be to be at this stage, and I think their performance is significant in that regard, and I think that also serves as motivation to continue on, and certainly they know that if they get a win tomorrow, where Mexico's, like we've said, I mean they're gonna be with the home team tomorrow. It's probably gonna be like 95% Mexican fans and 5% Venezuela fans, and I think if Venezuela gets the victory tomorrow, it'll be huge for them. But I think what they've done up to this point, it's remarkable. With head coach Dudamel, and we'll see who he puts up on the pitch tomorrow. I mean, you get the sense, even though players don't. I mean, today Osorio was straight up that they don't care if they face Argentina in the quarterfinals.
No.
But I think there is.
Rafa said that.
Yeah.
Rafa Marquez did say on an interview that they want to not face Argentina.
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
I mean,
I don't like this mentality of bring on anyone. No, like, yeah, we have to beat them, but if we can avoid them to try to get to a final, I'm sorry, but it's okay to
No,
avoid them.
I think
do it all
also,
the time.
I mean, he was just saying that to the media. He was just saying that it doesn't matter who we play, we can beat him, blah blah. But in the back of his mind, he's looking at that and saying like, yeah, I would much rather face Chile or Panama, and as opposed to Argentina.
Panama.
But yeah, let's keep an eye on those results too.
It's still 0-0 I'm looking at Twitter. It might be wrong. Hopefully I'm not. But 0-0 between Brazil and Peru. If Peru manages to somehow beat Brazil, Brazil's out of the Copa America, and Brazil goes in, and it looks like it'll play Colombia. And if we finish, in that semifinal match, it would be between the winner of Colombia and Peru. Keep going, Peru. Peru all the way to the semifinals.
Yeah, let's do that, guys.
This is
Colombia
winning. This is Peru winning. We got this, little young minnow teams in the Copa America.
No, but the Colombia-Mexico would be interesting, because of this whole, the Osorio connection.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Osorio connection. I think, that a lot of Colombian media. There was a lot of Colombian media today in the press conference with Osorio, because I guess they're taking their flight later in the day to New Jersey. So there was a lot of Colombian press today in Osorio's presser. So they are paying attention to what he's doing. They're really observing and analyzing the coach that could be in the future the national team coach for Colombia.
Let's just switch right now. We'll give you Osorio, and we'll take Peckerman. I'm down.
Are we saying this is a double-edged sword? So if Osorio does do a great job, Colombia might try to pick him up before the World Cup.
Oh man.
No, he
has a contract. He has a contract, no?
Yeah, one is contract. Two, I think if he does a great job and go to the World Cup, I think if Mexico will try to keep him, if they're great, if it's great. The only way Osorio is leaving is if he does a bad job, or there's too many commercials he has to film. All right, guys. Interesting enough, we love speculation in this Copa America Centenario and what we have. It's definitely fun. I think about it, I'm like, what would I be doing if this tournament wasn't here? Probably going to a Mexico-friendly game, actually. But definitely a lot of fun in what's happening. Let's hope Mexico gets to win tomorrow. Ghana, there are no injuries. There are no yellow cards.
No injuries.
Anyone with yellow cards?
more than anything else, I'm hoping for no injuries tomorrow. That's all I'm
no
hoping
injuries.
for.
What I understand, I think it's Raúl Jiménez who has a yellow card.
Raúl
So-
Jiménez. That's it. Because I was thinking of the Jamaica game. I didn't see any yellow cards for anyone.
Yeah.
And anyone that had him in the first game would be, Guardado was already out. So hopefully we're able to have all the players that we need for that last match. The next match after Venezuela.
It's not the last match. The last match will be wherever the final's at. I forget where it's at.
MetLife.
New Jersey,
There
right?
you go, MetLife.
Which
Is it
I saw the pitch today. I think they played today. It looked horrendous.
Yeah. It's strange. It's strange right there. I mean, it's we're technically like 2 weeks away from the final.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it improves.
Most significant soccer tournament in the U.S. since 1994, and the pitch is looking kind of weird. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's this difficulty with how MetLife uses turf, for example, during its American football games, and here in Houston, the Energy Stadium, they use the turf as well. So right now they actually took off the turf and they put natural grass on top of the cement. So it's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Before we go into all the questions that happened, they said predictions. We'll go into predictions. Start thinking of a prediction, guys. But here's a couple of things that are happening in the chat. It says bring Neri Castillo for the quarters and semis.
Down.
Good
Let's
idea.
do it. Let's bring him back.
Which is hilarious.
He's still in Greece.
I want
right?
2007 Neri Castillo. I don't mind. 2016 Neri Castillo. We don't even know where he's at. And somebody's asking where is Neri playing.
Someone asked where he's at. I'm pretty sure he's still. I'm guessing there's like a 90% chance he's still somewhere in Greece, right? Just like. Maybe just accustomed to that lifestyle and like still hoping, like holding on to some dream that he's gonna like sign into some B team out there. Yeah.
Let's see more things that happen. Chile is overrated, with a bad word before that. FYI. I want to see Mexico play Colombia. When we were talking about Osorio, no, stay Osorio. Projected lines for Copa Confederaciones. Let's just get by. Let's get through right now before we can't even talk about projected lines for tomorrow.
Whoa.
Let alone Confederaciones. When do they take away the yellow cards? They'll take them away after this round. And there it is. That's it, guys. Predictions before we leave.
I'm saying a very hard-fought 2-1 victory for Mexico.
Say 2-0.
I'm gonna go. I said 1-0 in Jamaica. I said 1-0. I just feel like, but for some reason, I feel this game. It's gonna show everybody, and I think we're gonna win. I think it's gonna be like a 3-0. I think Venezuela is gonna be really vulnerable because in the last two games, especially against Uruguay, they were holding back, and getting those counters playing in there. I think Venezuela is gonna try to win the game right away and go, toe to toe, 2-for-2, like we like to say, against Mexico, and I think Mexico with those spaces is going to be able to score. I'm thinking 3-0 Venezuela. It's funny how we think a Venezuela friendly is like, Partido Molero. Why are we playing these, horrible teams, South American teams like Bolivia, Peru, and Venezuela? But when it's a Copa America Venezuela, when it's a Copa America Bolivia, if you remember last year, when it's a Copa America Peru, it's a little different. So
it is different.
Think about those moleros that everyone doesn't like, but I'm glad we played Venezuela already.
So who do you think is the best player so far for Mexico, Cesar and Wissam?
Honestly,
to answer my own question.
I know once I look at my player ratings and look back, I'm gonna be like, oh no, he was actually better. But the funny thing that actually the first player that comes to mind, and I'm just thinking consistency, as I think Rafa Marquez is up there. In the end, there's probably someone better, maybe someone like Irving Lozano, who's been an impact sub. Maybe somebody you could say even just Chicharito just for his goal in the second match and how hard he was playing the first match. But if we're looking at both, I mean honestly, what first comes to mind, and I'm sure there's someone else. I'm sure once I look at those player ratings, there's going to be someone else. Rafa Marquez. I think he's the only player that I immediately think of that just hasn't let me down from either match.
I asked the question because I really didn't know. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out because it feels like everyone that has done. I can tell you who the worst. I mean, I think like Yasser Corona.
Yeah. Yacerinho.
But I feel everyone has done their job, and maybe that's something that's really cool about this team that everyone. It's not like one person overpower. I think what Guardado did in that game, even though he got expelled, I thought he was great. I think I like what Layun is doing. Hector Herrera is doing great.
Hector, yeah.
Hector Herrera, I feel like maybe if anyone else has consistently from the first and second game have done great. Chicharito, not the greatest first game, but obviously scored, and then after that kind of went away. Chucky Lozano coming in, I feel like he just needs to work a little bit more in his timing, and I think he'd be great, but makes those great runs. Rafa Marquez had a great first game. I didn't see him that greatest second game. Ochoa's had a great first game. So I'd have to go with
we'll get a better idea after the third game.
Yeah.
I imagine 99% chance I'm going to be saying Guardado after this next game. But
Raúl Jiménez too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he provided. He provided
assists. His little flick out of nowhere, to give Herrera and what he's doing. So I feel, that's. Hey, Oribe Peralta when he went into, in the game. I think. Who has the most minutes that we've seen? That's played both games. Rafa Marquez, did he play both games?
I wrote down. I looked really quickly. I could be wrong, but I think it's Araujo, Moreno, Marquez, Herrera, Layun, Tecatito, and Chicharito are the players who have played, who've started in both matches.
And Tecatito has been subbed both games.
Yeah.
Chicharito has been subbed both games. So Morena, Rafa, and Herrera are the ones that probably have 180 minutes that haven't been subbed. All right, guys. Well, we'll be seeing hopefully when we come back on the Mexican Soccer Show, we're already talking about the Chile match. I think we will be. Staying hopeful that we would be able to beat
the Panama match?
Venezuela team. Maybe. Yeah, there's no way Argentina can be, right? They already have 6 points. Chile.
No, they can. I think they still can technically get into second place, but it would require Chile. Let's see, blah 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 blah. So it would require Argentina losing and then Chile getting a few goals. Because right now Argentina has a +6 goal differential and Chile has 0. So yeah. So take Argentina. Yeah. It's Argentina against Bolivia too. So.
No, Bolivia's hard. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for everyone that's on the chat for joining us. If you're not listening to us live, thank you for watching this. I'm sure if it's today, you're watching it today, and Mexico is playing today. Really appreciate all of the love on Twitter, on Facebook. To these guys who are traveling around, I want to thank Naib and Cesar. I know, traveling and we're going to different cities or watching the games and we're able to come on. We apologize that we haven't had a set schedule at 7 normally on Mondays, but because everyone's traveling and there's so many games, we'd like to at least bring you one before the game, and that's what we've been doing. So stay tuned before the quarterfinal that will be, and hopefully we'll have a show for you guys. Thank you to everyone that's on right now. Special shout out to Mr. Ivan Afrozander, who is live tweeting for us, and I want to definitely give a shout out to Johnny Rico and also Miss Amy, our intern, and our friend Nate Aburrea, who were able to have a post-soccer Mexican soccer show after the Jamaica match there at in Pasadena. I don't want to thank Johnny for wearing sunglasses on the show, but thank you for being on. If you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. It's pretty funny. And also shout out to Mr. Fernando Regino, who was able to help out with the camera there. He's from Soccer Chronicle, another journalist there that was there. So guys, thank you so much. Fun times. Closing arguments, not arguments. Closing statements. Cesar and Naib.
Let's see. What do I have to say? Let's see how the Warriors do. I always bring up the Warriors again. Yeah, just it's the finals, so let's see how they do.
De Mexico. Guerreros.
They're up 3. Yeah, there you go. The Guerreros. Yeah, there you go. They're up 3-1. So excited to see them. Excited to see them win another title. Although my favorite basketball team of the Warriors B team, the Santa Cruz Warriors, who played in Santa Cruz. And
oh my gosh.
Santa Cruz Warriors.
Naib,
it was great, man.
Can you close us out? Please.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you have opportunities, I mean, to watch all the football that is out there, the Euro is in full swing.
Time.
I know it's unfortunate.
I said, I was like, I love the Euro, pero como que no quiero. I don't want to wake up.
Dude, just wake up, dude. I woke up early. I caught the Germany game.
Early is like 11 o'clock.
No, dude, I woke up actually because DJ Cuddles kept bothering me this morning. I caught the 6 a.m. Turkey Croatia game.
Cuddles' cat.
Yeah, whatever. How does no one know? Like everyone should know about DJ Cuddles.
No, there's some new people.
Really? Oh, dude, I got to bring DJ Cuddles back onto the show. But yeah, dude, I caught the 6 a.m. Turkey Croatia game. Yeah, it was fun to watch that. Yeah.
Luka Modric scored there.
Modric, right?
Yeah, that was a golazo, man. That was a
Yeah. And then the Wales England is gonna be interesting. Yesterday I was with Tom watching the England game, and the poor guy was
how is Tom?
really sad.
He start chanting England, England, England.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that. I really like the Euro. I mean, I don't like the fights and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the football quality is really special. And of course the Copa America. The Copa America I think is gonna get really good this week.
When you were
I think-
watching the English match, was any of the fans doing the No? No? Because
Well,
Colombia apparently does
I
it.
did see it. I did in the Colombia Costa Rica. So yo, eh?
You were at the
So yo-
stadium, right? You're at the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that. I was tweeting all about that. FIFA should find Colombia too.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think
they
it's,
should,
it's
yeah.
la
This
mi-
is how it is,
in
right?
Spanish how we
It's okay.
say it is la misma vara.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Naive. Thank you so much, Cesar, Mr. Tom Marshall, who I'm sure was going to be joining us in the next one. Also, Jason Markowitz, who did a great job here in Phoenix and writing. A couple of things are going on with Mex Nation. Copa Daily articles every night. We have a different writer. Ivan Afrozander, Amy, I think Jason, Johnny, everyone's doing one Copa Daily article. Mr. Jolie is really fun. And then I'm also doing a Toyota True Dirt moment of the day on Mexico and U.S. They're a lot of fun to film. I should show you all the times that I've messed up in those and have maybe a little outtake. So thank you for retweeting. We'd love to see you guys retweet those articles as our first sponsors that we had. They definitely like what we're doing. Hopefully we can give you obviously more content, more flying out to games. Right now we do it on our own, but hopefully in the future we're able to bring you every Mexico game, give you a live look of what's happening if they let us, because apparently we can't periscope during press conferences anymore. But we're having a lot of fun doing this. Keep following us on Facebook and Twitter. Y nos vemos after the Venezuela win, getting in that preview before Chile. We'll talk to you all later. See you later, Cesar. See you later, Naim.
Cool. Adios.
Ciao.
Later, guys.